So you're thinking about living in southern Utah, but you have questions. You're confused. Where should you go?
I mean, we were confused.
We were confused.
We might be still confused, but less confused.
I'm confused about life, but that's beyond the point. What we're talking about here is living in southern Utah. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get out the map and we're going to talk about all the different areas that you can live in southern Utah. And we're going to talk about things that you're going to like, but most important, we're going to talk about things that you're going to hate so you can rule out some areas. So stay tuned.
What's up, everybody? I'm Sean Dazad.
And I'm Courtney Dazad, and we're with Keller Williams Realty right here in St. George, Utah. And if this is your first time to the channel, don't forget to press on the subscribe button and don't forget to press on the bell so you're notified every time that we upload a new video.
And if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, wow, I love St. George. I love the Red Rocks. I just love Zion. I just want to move out there now. But the problem is that I'm not in the area and I don't know what to do. And I totally get that. That's why you want to reach out to me and my team, and I will personally make sure that we help you find that perfect property. So what you want to do is you want to either give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email.
Or you can reach out to us via WhatsApp. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back.
So here we are, we're in southern Utah, which basically for like on the map, this is more or less southern Utah right here.
Yeah, and you probably can't tell from the map, but most of southern Utah is rather unpopulated. And if you're talking about the places where people live, it's mostly in the St. George metropolitan area, if Sean, you want to.
Which is right here.
Yes, so that's where most people live. This is not to say that southern Utah isn't just the state itself. The southern part of the state of Utah is just stunningly beautiful, and it's obviously known for just its stunning national parks. There's a lot
of canyons galore.
Yes, there's a lot of, movies and films that use southern Utah for westerns because just the contrast of the red rocks, and it's so beautiful. I mean, I know the Dead Horse State Park, if Sean wants to.
Right here.
Yeah, I mean, that was used, I don't know, that show Westworld that's on HBO? They used this part of Utah for that. I mean, I used to watch it, but then Sean ruined it for me because he pointed out that the robots, they don't have an energy source. So, when they leave, what's their energy source? So I stopped watching it. I do not know if it's a show anymore. What's that? That's weird.
What are those?
Yeah, that is really odd.
But regardless, since we're talking about, you wanting to live in southern Utah, why don't we go to St. George?
So we'll take a Nazgul and we will fly.
We'll fly as the Nazgul flies, and we will go to St. George.
All the way over from here to here.
St. George, yeah.
So this is really, when you're talking about southern Utah, basically you're thinking of mostly like southwestern Utah, mostly Washington County, and specifically St. George.
Yeah.
And that's because St. George is the most populated city in its entire region.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's Cedar City too, but that's not as densely populated.
Yes, exactly. I would definitely say that Washington County is definitely much more populated than Cedar City.
Yeah.
But then as we zoom into St. George, here we are.
Yeah, so in the middle, you have, Town Square Park, you have the Tabernacle,
This is mostly, okay, so this is 0-0, basically.
Yeah.
So actually the numbering scheme here is kind of fascinating, but as you go, like, from this point out, you have the 100, 200, 300, both east and west, and then 100, 200, 300, like, plus both north and south. It's like this grid pattern, which is actually really, at first, as a newcomer, we were so confused by this thing. Yeah. But it actually makes a ton of sense. Because you're like, okay, this is city center point, and this is from there, that's where it kind of emanates out.
Yeah, and so this downtown area is, it is the center of town. I mean, you have Town Square Park, you have Ancestor Square, where there's George's Corner restaurants. That just shows you that you're in Ancestor Square. There's lots of restaurants in there. There's
the Painted Pony.
There's Spiritual, which is a bar. There's Benja's. There's Station 2 Brewery.
The Pizza Factory.
Yeah, so it's becoming a real downtown with
some nightlife, actually.
Some nightlife, and then you have Main Street.
Zooming out, so this is Main Street right there?
Yeah, so Main Street has, some fun. Main Street and St. George Boulevard and Tabernacle Street, they all have some fun, restaurants, shops, and Main Street itself, and a lot of the homes around downtown, they can have like a charmingness to them.
You know what's interesting? I didn't realize this until just now. This is where that roundabout is,
Yeah.
right? I didn't know that was the 00.
Oh yeah, where the Iron Man roundabout is.
Yes.
That little. You want to circle it?
Let's take the man to there,
Well,
so you can actually view the roundabout.
I don't think it show. Yeah, in Google Maps they don't have the Iron Man thing.
But yeah, so that's 00 apparently.
Yeah, that's 00.
I just didn't draw that link until just now.
Yeah, so obviously St. George, at the time of this recording, they just hosted the Ironman World Championships. So
Yes.
that Ironman thing has to do
But no one really showed up.
that Ironman thing has to do with the Ironman 70.3. So that's the half Ironman.
But we had the legit,
We
full-blown
did.
World Championships, whole Ironman.
Yeah, the first time ever in the history of the race outside of Hawaii.
And it was super easy. From everything I hear, super easy course.
Yeah, it was just so flat and we're joking. But anyways, you want to...
Oh, and this restaurant.
Oh, Capoletti's.
Yeah, this is so
Yeah,
good.
it is. It's a good restaurant. It's a good Italian restaurant. And then that's also right
Electric
next
Theater
to
Center?
Yeah, the Electric Theater Center, which is fun. Our kids like going. There's little plays.
And I must say the audience was really enthused by the play that we were watching. I was like, wow, people are really jazzed up about this performance.
Yeah, so regardless, what we're trying to say here is that the center of town, that's kind of where all the action is. It's kind of where, you can find some stuff to do that's not outdoorsy, right? I mean, obviously St. George is known for just being an outdoor paradise. But if you're looking for some, city living.
Oh, then but the little Town Square Park action.
So Town Square Park is...
Got the carousel.
Yeah, and there's always something going on in Town Square Park. Always some sort of event or...
Yeah, well, that's pretty much where, on the Ironman, that's where they were.
Yeah, so that's where they were dropping off all the packets and stuff. And
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a big field out there. And then if you want
And then
to-
actually, we should say about the houses in this area.
Yeah.
Definitely more your vibe as far as more just the eclectic, historical type of home. So they kind of
Yeah.
kept a lot of that vibe. I would not necessarily all this is in a historic district, but you kind of get that idea that this is where the older homes are. And you kind of get that vibe. Because a lot of St. George and Washington County, for that matter, is fairly new. Tons of new
If not
construction.
totally new.
Yeah, so a lot of new construction is happening currently as we speak. And certainly in the 2000s, ton of construction.
Yeah.
But this is one of those areas where we get a lot of these older homes, and you just got, again, in various states of condition. Not
Yeah.
all of them are pristinely well kept, but you get that, so, but if you are looking for an interesting project, really cool thing, or if you're looking for something, again, more on that really cool rustic kind of feel that's actually fixed up, you can find that here too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I have a idea to buy a nice, cute little charming house and then rent it out. We'll see if Sean.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see if Sean goes for it.
So as we head out, so we're going to go a little bit southwest, I would say.
Yeah, so St. George, it's
South and west.
There's quite a few little neighborhoods in St. George. When you come here, you'll hear people saying, I live in Bloomington, I live in Bloomington Hills, I live in Green Valley. And these are just, in reality, just tiny little neighborhoods. But they do have, distinct feels about them. For example, if you want to go to Bloomington, where the Bloomington Country Club is, those are definitely, I wouldn't call them older homes, but they're certainly not new construction.
Yeah, you definitely have stuff that's kind of built 80s and 90s, I would say.
Yeah.
So you have, and again, good schools here, of course, according to niche.com. And then just, you have some, you have golf courses. It's what people like about it too is that obviously it's very close to the 15 freeway, so super convenient. And again, not very far away from city center, right? So it's pretty close to that too.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously they have, all over St. George is just golf courses. Niche.com ranks Ivans and St. George as two of the best places to retire in all of Utah, and part of the reason is because of the golf courses.
Lots and lots of golf courses.
And then because of the beautiful weather, obviously you get...
And Virgin River.
Sean's me. Virgin. We always I wouldn't say we joke about the Virgin River because there's a show on Netflix about the Virgin River, which is a completely different Virgin River. It's a huge river in Northern California, which is a rather wet area of the country, whereas this is a very dry area. And a lot of times when you're passing the Virgin River in St. George, you don't even realize that it's a river. It's kind of just like a wash. Depending on how much it has rained recently.
Or snowed, depending on
or snowed up more north.
Yeah, like you look at this, Zion. You're going, wow, look at that Virgin River, go you. And then you go and you're like, wait, I don't see that. Like I see brush, and maybe I think that's Virgin River right there. So that huge blue was not Virgin River. And maybe at times it could fill that in.
But to the Virgin River's credit, it is actually provides all of the water to the St. George region.
Go Virgin.
At this time.
Yes.
So,
And it keeps going, too. Like, you look at how thin it gets, and it keeps going. Like, it'll go to the Nevada border, basically. So here we are. Yeah, so it keeps...
Yeah, where does it technically end?
All I know is that where it ends, I just hate this one bridge we had to cross.
Oh, man.
Because they're doing some serious construction.
Yeah, they're doing construction here in Mesquite. Do not get caught.
Oh, my God, so bad.
Yeah.
Like,
and I don't know. I think it's going to last another year.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know. Like, it's horrific.
So, long story short, if you have children and they do soccer tournaments, they probably will end up in Mesquite, and do not end up out there when they are, I don't know when they decide to close it off, but it is a nightmare if you get trapped back there.
Yeah, it takes forever. It takes forever.
It does.
But a nice thing about in St. George in general, the 15 freeway literally runs right through it, and it is a straight shot to get to Vegas, which is awesome because if you are looking for some nightlife or some serious shopping in order for flights, if you're looking for international travel or really domestic travel for that matter, Vegas is about a 90 or so minute drive, provided that bridge isn't destroyed.
Well, usually on the way to Vegas, it's not that bad. It's coming back.
That's fair.
Horrific.
Yes.
And this is obviously, as time passes, they'll finally be done with this project. I think they're just, what are they doing? Strengthening the bridge?
I don't know. But actually, what we found was that when we were driving, and hopefully we remember this the next time we are having to take this route, is that there's this side road, this one, we are going to take this 170 to try to avert, because this traffic kind of hits this whole stretch right here, which is just brutal.
It is brutal. So that's Bloomington. And then there's also a little neighborhood, Bloomington Hills.
Oh, yeah. That gets confusing.
Yeah.
So it's on the other side of the 15.
It's on the other side. Yeah. So there it is, Bloomington Hills. It's more new construction, I would say, newer construction. And then, you've got Little Valley east of that. These are all just tiny little neighborhoods. You don't really even know that you're in them necessarily when you're there. But yeah, so when you come here and you decide to live here, people will talk, they'll be like, well, what neighborhood do you live in? And you'll realize what neighborhood you live in.
And people go, oh, you're from that neighborhood. And then it's just like this huge conflict.
What?
Not really. But yeah.
And what's cool too is that Desert Hills High School is pretty impressive. It's
a very highly ranked high school on niche.com, and also U.S. News and World Report ranks it very high compared to other high schools in the entire country. So it's a good high school. A lot of people like that high school. But what's nice also about the St. George region is that it's very easy to transfer to whatever school you want. So we actually know quite a few people that, they may have, 3 kids, 4 kids.
And they're all going to different schools.
Yeah, they're all going to different schools. They'll have, we know a few people, they live right by Desert Hills, and then for whatever reason, one of their kids doesn't want to go there. They want to go to a different school. And so then they're like, well, I have to drive them 15 minutes every morning to go to a different high school. So
yeah, and actually, I guess since we're kind of in this vicinity, I guess we can bring up like St. George Regional Airport, because we did allude to the Harry Reid International Airport, formerly McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas. St. George Regional Airport is not an international airport.
No, it is very small. I mean, it's good to have.
It's actually nice. It looks beautiful, actually. It looks nice.
Yeah, we've never been inside because I kind of view it as like for emergency only.
Yeah, because you don't have very many flights at all coming out of here, and it's very limited. You're hitting Phoenix, Salt Lake City, Vegas,
Dallas.
I don't even think they do that anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's pretty limited as far
Yeah,
as
it's very
what they do.
limited. But the only time I would ever use it is if there was an emergency and I had to just get out.
Although chances are, even with an emergency, you're better off driving 90 minutes to Vegas because
That's honestly
I mean,
true.
that's assuming that they actually have a flight that you want to go to at that exact time.
Yeah.
Whereas at Harry Reid Airport, you could definitely
Yeah.
have much more of that.
I mean, obviously it's good to have, but it's and also there's a lot of new construction going on
yeah.
around the airport. So when Sean and I were looking for the house that we ended up buying, there would always be new construction that popped up. And just explain why we decided not to, purchase around the airport. This was just a personal choice, but.
Well, okay. So the airport, because obviously, given how much this region has actually exploded in growth, and doesn't seem like it's going to be slowing down anytime soon, you're kind of going, okay, like, do we actually want to be necessarily on a flight path where you're going to see a lot of flights, coming through here, right? So, like, do we want, planes kind of going this way or that way or whatever, or opposite direction, and do we want to necessarily be right in that flight path? Again, not to say it's going to be the case. It was just a thought that came to my mind going, okay, better, there's so many options here. Why specifically do we need to go there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was just our own thinking very far into the future. But I mean, it's the homes that are around there. I mean, they just go so quickly. Every time
other people aren't worried.
Yeah, every time you go onto a lot and you're like, well, are there any left? They're like, oh no, it's sold out. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. And again, tons of new construction going on here. And again, people really like, they're actually building a new high school right about here, I think. Actually.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, that's another thing to say. So if you want to zoom out, so right by the Arizona border, there's also tons of new construction going on, and really a lot of also infrastructure is being built as well. Like how Sean said, there's a new high school that's being built out here. So it's kind of like this almost like a new city that's being built.
Yeah. And it's weird because you see these outcroppings of these developments, but they're kind of spaced out for like hundreds of yards or whatever, right? And you're going, that's interesting. But we know, and it's weird to think that over time, that all is probably going to merge into just one suburban expanse, basically.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so if you're looking for new construction, that is one option. And it's interesting, too, because it's like the map is deceptive. Like you think, oh.
It's so far away.
It's so far away. But it's really only, 15 minutes from the center of town.
Yeah, it is kind of deceiving for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you wouldn't think the airport would be that far away. Here to, let's see.
Kind of near.
Right here, right?
Yeah.
In that vicinity.
So it's about 15 minutes, give or take. So, and then obviously the city right next to St. George is Washington, if you want to click on Washington. And Washington is the most
second populous city in Washington County, so therefore in southern Utah.
Yeah, and it's right, a lot of Washington is right by, not a lot of Washington, but parts of Washington are right by River Road.
So River Road this is kind of your main stretch of shopping, like of retail. So this is, Costco's right off of that. You got just tons of shopping along River Road.
So here we are. Here's River. You want to show? So River Road is that right there, and then it kind of hugs the
parallel
15.
to the 15 freeway. Yeah. So Washington kind of goes right this way, and this is just where you have tons of retail. You actually have a shopping center here with an H&M. Even you have Costco that's right off of it. You've got
Walmart,
Target, Walmart, like Harmon's.
In-N-Out.
Yes, In-N-Out for sure, too.
You gotta have In-N-Out.
Yes, we gotta have In-N-Out. I mean, for anyone that says In-N-Out's overrated, I don't know what you're expecting because In-N-Out's masterpieces are only surpassed by its own masterpieces.
That is very true. But Washington itself is a cute city. I particularly really like the Washington Fields area. They have a lot of
super cute.
A lot of new construction going on in there.
Yeah, right around here.
Yeah. And I just love the way that the builders are building the homes out there. I love the architecture and
Homes, shout out.
Yeah, and interior design that they've chosen is so gorgeous. And Washington Fields, they do, as the name suggests, they do have fields out there that they use for farming, and
For now.
Well, I hope they keep it.
I don't know, like. You never know with these things.
I don't know. I feel like food is an important thing.
That's overrated.
But they actually change the crops throughout the year, so you'll notice sometimes they have alfalfa and it's super green, and you're like, what is that? Why is it so green? It's actually alfalfa. So, but yeah, so Washington itself is super cute. There's a lot of new construction going on out there. It's a popular place when people decide they want to come live in the St. George region. A decent amount of people end up in Washington.
Yeah, and actually the regional, the medical center too is also really nice.
And then also close to Washington is the St. George Regional Hospital. St. George actually,
so this is in St. George.
Yeah, so it's run by Intermountain Healthcare, which is a very highly ranked healthcare group. It's based in Salt Lake City, but one thing that St. George, depending on certain lists, lots of the different rankings, has shown that St. George has very good medical. So if you need to find a place that has a good medical center, St. George offers that. And also it offers, if you do work in the medical field, Intermountain Healthcare is by the rankings, a good place to work. So
yeah, and it's impressive because it definitely punches above its weight class here, because this region is only about 200,000 people, but this hospital looks like it's kind of out of place in that it seems it's just a very impressive hospital, and as far as like structure and capabilities. And
then there's on the bluffs above it, there's lots of new construction going on there. I mean, we kind of sound like a broken record with the new construction, but there's just so much new construction going on around everywhere. But yeah, there's some bluffs above it with some cool new construction going on. And then up in Washington, they have some hills up there that have a ton of new construction as well.
For sure.
And then
since
we're heading out there, you want to show Hurricane. So Sand Hollow State Park is in Hurricane, Utah.
So it's a reservoir.
It's a reservoir, yeah. Relatively new, but it's very popular. Same with Quail Creek, which is also a reservoir close to there.
Yeah, so those are the two main water features other than Virgin River in this southwestern Utah area.
Mm-hmm. So Hurricane itself is obviously farther out from the center of St. George.
Heading towards Zion.
But there's so much being built out there. There are some opportunities for vacation rentals around Sand Hollow.
Yeah, what you'll find out in this area is that you can't, you think, oh, this is, like Republican country and all that stuff, and you can do with your property how you wish. That's not necessarily true. When it comes to vacation rentals, specifically nightly rentals, you have to be zoned technically to be able to do this kind of stuff, like like VRBOs or Airbnbs, because if you think about it, it's kind of, you could do what you want to an extent, but if you're encroaching upon your neighbors, that could be a problem, right? So, unfortunately, some bad actors take place, and then let's say someone is renting their house, in a quiet neighborhood or whatever, people go crazy, and then all of a sudden, now the neighbors are upset.
Well, actually, that happened to Sean's best friend. His dad has a house out in Hurricane, and what was happening is party buses were showing up at this nightly rental because they were going to Zion the next day. So that's part of the reason why they had to put, some restrictions on it.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a vacation rental, you got to reach out to us so that way we can help you find that property. Because the last thing I want for you to do is be in a situation where you buy a property, you're going, oh, I'm going to turn this into an Airbnb. And then all of a sudden you get shut down because it's not zoned for it and people complained. So, but again, doesn't mean that you can't do it in Washington County, but it just means that you have to do it in specific spots.
Yeah. And Hurricane itself is just growing like crazy. There's so much
development. Yeah.
Yeah. You just go anytime, let's say you want to come out to St. George just to do like a little, reconnaissance mission, figure out where you want to live. The next time you come back, it will just seem so different to you because there'll be so much that's been built in between. So
yeah. And then we go to Virgin. This is kind of right before you start to really hit Zion, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually where Sean's best friend lives, is Virgin, and you definitely have the opportunity to get some land. I know they do some filming for TV shows. I think Yellowstone, like Kevin Costner's show, they do some filming out there. There has been Kevin Costner sightings out in Virgin. So, but yeah, if you're definitely looking for more space, that is an opportunity. I mean, what's cool though too is that you do feel like, you're in the middle of nowhere, but it truly isn't that far from St. George.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what, 30-ish minute drive. So it's not that far away. Like, if you think about it, like, it's not too bad.
So here we are. We're going to just show you how far away is it. Oh, so
38 minutes.
38 minutes technically from St. George. So in the grand scheme of things, 38 minutes is not that much.
Yeah, to be kind of like seemingly pretty far away.
Yeah. The house where Sean's best friend lives is so peaceful. I mean, I can see why he likes it out there.
Yeah, and you just have the views of, like, you see Zion's, like, the view there. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, because obviously Zion is just right there, so.
And I guess that we're going to circle back, right? So we can kind of head this way to Ivans, I guess?
Yeah, so Ivans is another area that is experiencing, shocking, a ton of growth.
Yes.
So a ton of new construction out there. So technically it's right by the ledges, even though if you do get it is easy to, like, get confused where you are and then go the wrong way. And then you can't really go, like, across. So then you'll have to take, like, a 15-minute detour. But anyway, so the ledges, what Sean has circled right here, this also has a ton of new construction. That's technically St. George. And then Ivans has a ton of new construction. That's where the Tuakan Amphitheater is. It's where
Which is amazing.
Yes, it's a natural rock amphitheater. It's where they're making the Black Desert Resort, which is the plans for this.
I mean, look at that.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
like, how cool is this?
Back to the amphitheater. I mean, it's just so pretty and just awe-inspiring, I would say. And they do a lot of musicals and stuff out there, and it's super cute. As you can see, Sean and I, because we definitely try to enjoy the area. Because, I mean, why not?
Why not? Yeah, when you have all this natural beauty, why not enjoy it?
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people, anywhere you live, you kind of take for granted, what you have. And so we definitely try to enjoy what has been offered to us here. And there's just so much. But then so Ivans, so they're building the Black Desert Resort, and which is crazy. Yeah.
You have all these lava. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, so
huge development.
Yeah, huge development. I think it's supposed to be totally opened in like 2 years or something.
I think they start opening soon, actually. Parts of it. Yeah. Like this month.
Yeah. So this is being filmed in May. So yeah, I think like any day now they should be opening that golf course. But yeah, so, and technically it's supposed to be like, the premier resort in the St. George region. I guess they're thinking that 1 million people are going to come in and out of that resort every year.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think they're building like 1,000 residences in it, which I think are all the phases that have already been done have already been sold out. So, so Ivans has a lot of new stuff being done as well. And then Santa Clara is a very, very small little town, very cute, cute little tree-lined streets. They do have new construction. Oh yeah. They do have new construction out there by the river out there. You see that blue line. They have some beautiful estates. Yeah, beautiful estates out there that are kind of tucked away. You wouldn't really know that they're there. But I love, in the spring, I love the trees, how they're so green and just pretty. And Santa Clara definitely is a cute little area.
For sure. And they have some huge estates that are like, you're going, wow, these are big houses.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's small. It's very small.
So obviously we have to say that St. George in the summer gets hot.
Yeah.
Right? And so we are at a bit of an elevation, about 2,600 feet, depending on where you are in Washington County area. And so if you want a little relief, a pool is fantastic on those summer days. And what's nice about Sand Hollow Aquatic Center is that it is a covered pool. So it's actually like an enclosed pool.
Yeah, so it's one of the many public pools in the St. George region. It's covered, which we like because, sun damage is already extensive on my back. So. And
they have water slides and all that stuff. So and our daughter's super fair skinned, so she's just gonna get fried. Yeah. So as much as possible, we try to keep them our kids somewhat covered up.
Yeah. If you want to avoid, we do like those, the SPF shirts and stuff. Those are very helpful for when you're not in a covered pool. But yeah, so the Sand Hollow Aquatic Center is just one of, one covered pool that you can use.
Yeah, so you kind of give you an idea. So you see like the tarp kind of roof there, and you have water slide. So it's pretty cool.
Another way that people like to escape the heat is to head up to Pine Valley, which is
Beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's actually pretty high elevation. I feel like it's like 7,000 feet or something.
Yeah, it kind of
like
moves
that.
up pretty fast.
Yeah, that's one interesting thing that we were kind of surprised by when we first moved out here is just how quickly the elevation just gets high.
Yeah, because actually, it's funny when you tell people that you live in Utah, they automatically assume it's snowy all the time and you're in really high elevation, at least like like a mile up, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, St. George, the southern Utah thing, is actually pretty low. I mean, relatively speaking, it's only about 2,600. But the topography, like the elevation, moves up pretty quickly as you go northeast.
Yeah. So Pine Valley is, it's really small, but it's a way to escape the heat. And then you can also, since we are talking about
like elevation, we should probably talk
about Bryan Head,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right by, so Cedar City is another big city in southern, big.
We're
talking southern
Medium.
Utah. We're talking southern Utah standards, right? So Cedar City is very close to Bryan Head, and Bryan Head is only about 90 minutes from St. George.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and it's I feel like it's because obviously Utah is known for its snow. It's
Champagne snow.
Yeah, it's world famous for its snow, but obviously whenever people think of Utah, they think of like Park City. They think of all the resorts that are out by Salt Lake City.
Snowbird, yeah. Yeah,
so I feel like Bryan Head, it's not as crowded. You get more like the Vegas crowd, you get more the California crowd, people from California who just they just drive out there. They don't want to have to fly out anywhere.
But it's actually the highest base elevation too.
Yeah, it's the highest base elevation in all of Utah. Yeah, and it's pretty beautiful, and you can see some of the red rock features out there as well. And what's cool too is that we have young kids, so that you can get pretty cheap passes in the winters from the schools, and you can head out to Bryan Head. And what's also nice about Bryan Head too is that there's not really any runs out there. Like once your kids actually learn how to ski, there's not any runs out there where you're like, oh, if they got there, they could really hurt themselves. Like I don't feel like it's like,
neither in Park City.
Yeah, in Park City, I feel like
I had this crazy situation where our son was 5 at the time, and we're like Park City, first time skiing that day, and we're doing the bunny slopes. We're like, oh, this is easy. And then I was like, oh, you know what? Let's just get to the base of the mountain. That should be easy enough. So I said, oh, you know what? We're done with the bunny slopes. We're just gonna like ski off to this way. Didn't even bother looking at the map. Did not know what we were getting into. Obviously, much more difficult. My poor son is just suffering through it. And long story short, we had to get actually like helped down the mountain because this is not going to happen.
Although I will say that he became a much better skier.
Oh my gosh, trial by fire, right? He's either sink or swim, and he ended up swimming, and the rest of the day he was doing fantastic.
Yeah, I feel like it's the old way to teach people how to swim and
That's
ski.
how I would have done it.
Yeah.
So I was like, old school tech.
Yeah, 1980s, like back to the 80s, how we learned.
That's how you roll.
And then if you want to click on Cedar City is another fairly populated area of the St. George region. It's kind of like, if you're living in southern Utah, you tend to be living in either St. George or Cedar City. Those are the most populated areas. And when I say St. George, I'm talking about like St. George, Washington, Santa Clara, Ivins. And then there's obviously
Hurricane Virgin.
Yeah, then there's obviously Cedar
Leeds.
City as well. Leeds.
Scotland.
Leeds is in England.
Was that not Scotland?
No, I've been to Leeds. It's actually one of my favorite cities in the entire world. Yes, Leeds is beautiful in England.
And it's called Hurricane, just so you know, not hurricane, as the English say hurricane.
Yes. Well, the people from Liverpool say hurricane.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. And so that's kind of,
so this is only, just so you know, this is only 45 minutes.
Yeah.
To Cedar City from St. George.
Yeah.
So it's not like on the map. This kind of looks like it's way far away. It's actually not that far away at all.
Yeah, and Cedar City also has a university. So that's actually one reason that we really liked the St. George region is because it has a university. And so does Cedar City. And just in my opinion, whenever you have universities, that just brings innovation. It brings people. It brings young talent.
Jobs.
So for us, to be in a place that has a university, and then St. George not only has Dixie State, but it also has Dixie Tech, and then it also has a medical school. And then out in Cedar City, they have a university. So just to have that much around, to me, is just a big, plus about living out here.
Especially given the fact that it's not that highly populated. So surprisingly, given the low-ish population, you do have universities available to you, lots of shopping. And also what I love is that in a pretty diverse, set of, pretty diverse work, like options, employment options, I should say. And then plus, if you ever get that need, I need a little bit more big city life, like let's say for the weekend or whatever, there is this place that caters to the weekend, and that's called Vegas, and it's only about 90-minute or so drive, and you can get all the shopping and dining you could ever ask for there.
Yeah, so I feel like the St. George region, Southern Utah region, you really get, not only do you get some of the best outdoor lifestyle you could honestly ever ask for in the world. I mean, you have some of the most beautiful parks in the world, and then you also have one of the most famous cities, big cities, Las Vegas, in the world. So you're just really surrounded by everything you could ever want, at least in my opinion. I mean, it's just a gem of a place to live.
Yeah, and it's in that Goldilocks zone where you're not too far away. I obviously brought up Vegas, but if you look here, basically going to, if you need to get to LA, about a 6 hour or so drive, but 6 hours or so drive to Phoenix as well. So you're not,
and then also obviously Salt Lake City.
Oh yeah, and of course, Salt Lake City is
about 4 hours.
Yeah, about 4 hours. So you're not that far away from a lot of, so obviously as you go further east, it gets a bit, more desolate. So it's a nice where you're in that nice little Goldilocks zone where you're still close to a lot of population centers if you need them.
Yeah. So that's it. That's our video.
And if you're thinking, Sean, I'm ready to go. I'm going to pack up my bags. I want to move out there now. What do I do next? So what you want to do is you want to either give me a call, shoot me a text, or send us an email.
Or you can reach out to us via WhatsApp. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back.